Alright, so we're in the next video right now, and the next thing that we wanted to talk about, first of all, is how do you start off with creating your own HTML file. So let me just put back our logos and stuff so we could see a little bit of brainwashing while we're teaching you guys. You know, just look at that. Just look at that logo, 0 to geek, as you're learning. Hopefully that
Everybody got that?
And feel free, anytime you feel like saying something, just say 0 to geek to make sure that people get that good brainwash that they need.
I hear you.
It's hard to sell videos, so the more times they hear about it, the
0
better.
to geek. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so you're learning with 0 to geek right now. All right, so back into what we're talking about. So there's a lot of tools out there. Now there's 2 different types of tools, which I'm going to throw a few scary words because developers like using scary words. There's WYSYWYG Tools and there's regular tools. The WYSYWYG Tools is what you see is what you get. Applications such as Dreamweaver, which literally you don't have to know anything about code. You just go into that WYSYWYG, such as Dreamweaver, and just start typing just as you would in a Word document or in your email, and there you go. You just had a website. That's not what we are going to do here. We're going to actually learn how to do it. There's a lot of value in knowing how to do it. So that's about it. So what you really need is an editor that is a good text editor. Now, a good text editor is the standard Notepad on Windows, or any editor that you know is not a WYSYWYG. Now, in our case, we're going to be working with an editor that's called Sublime Text. If you're working on Mac, it's a free application, although they really want you to pay for it. As long as you didn't pay, there'll be here an unregistered mark on it, but they're really, really cool because they don't force you to pay. You'll see that you use it, you see that you like it, then they'll probably want $80 or something like that. We don't get a cut out of it, but we still paid for it because we think if we're going to make training videos on it, we probably should pay for it. So you open up any WYSYWYG application, and this is basically, well, non-WYSYWYG. We're basically a regular text editor, and this is literally that, just a regular text editor with a few hidden features. And literally all you really could do in it is type. Let's just make our font a little bit bigger so everyone could see. Beautiful. So we have here a new empty document. Now, the first thing that we want to do before we start working on this new empty document that's an editor for code, you don't want to work with Office, you don't want to work with any tool that is that you can't see what happens behind the scenes. We want to see what happens behind the scenes. Once you have that application, our next step is let's just create our first HTML file. To do that, I am just going to go into File. I'm going to save that file. And when I save this file, I'm going to save it onto my desktop for now. I'm just going to call this Hello World. And let me ask you, Ma, what is going to be the file extension for that Hello World file? Yeah, we just talked about it, about file extensions.
That WYSY something or
No. The file extension, I'll give you a hint. It starts with .h.
HTML.
There you go. So our first file, every HTML file, there you go. You just got 2 points, and if you guys knew it, then you're set. So .html file, we're going to create our hello world.html file. We're going to click on save, and now our file is going to be a hello world HTML file. I'm just going to jump right into the browser. As soon as we created the file, I'm going to grab that file and just drop it right into my browser so I could see what actually happened. Now, you'll see that we have here a new HTML file. It's completely empty. Its title is hello world.html because that's the name of the file.
That's how we used to say world when you were younger. World.
That's yeah, I think I still do that sometimes. I still do. Whoa world. So welcome to my whoa world. So we created an empty HTML file that basically has nothing inside of it. Not that exciting, but we're a step ahead already. The next step that we'll want to do now that we have an empty file, we've seen it in a browser. And by the way, if we're already talking about browsers, it really doesn't matter what browser you're using. Do you know what type of browser do you have? What is your favorite browser that you work with?
I work with?
Well, when you surf the web, what browser do you use?
Firefox?
There you go. So that's a browser. And this browser is Safari, which is the built-in one in Mac. Okay. And a lot of people use different browsers. There's Chrome, there's Internet Explorer.
I use Chrome sometimes also.
There you go. So literally, it doesn't really matter what browser you're going to test things out at this stage because they'll basically render the same way because we're really creating basic websites at this stage. Later on, you'll probably want to test out and see how it looks like in different browsers, mainly because different people watch it in different browsers and different browsers interpret what you do slightly differently. And you want to make sure that whatever you created looks okay to you in all the different browsers that you care about.